Well, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. My name is Tasbeeh Alarga. I am a 20-year-old university student, chemical engineering. I'm currently studying in Jordan University of Science and Technology. What I've been doing the past few years is just making spacesuits. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Can you talk a little bit about your spacesuit development? How'd you get into it? How far along are you into it? And do you see this as something that you might wear one day on another planet?
Okay. So this started, I think, 2 years last year, where me and my friends were like looking at some opportunities when we got a notification that there's a spacesuit design competition that was here in Jordan. So we're like, come on, let's participate in it, see what would happen. And suddenly we're one of the finalists and we're making it an actual spacesuit. That's where we met Mr. Mac Malkawi from Borderless Labs. And he said, what you're doing is really cool. So let's make another spacesuit. So we made another spacesuit with a new team, and we got to present it in Blink Space Camp last September. It was really cool. The spacesuit had life support systems, anti-fogging systems, cooling systems. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I, with the whole pandemic, thing that we've had, I often wonder why we didn't see like the personal spacesuit become like a popular everyday
Yeah,
thing. Carry around your own air supply and be
yeah,
completely safe.
yeah, and that would actually be a really good solution for whatever happened in COVID, because there's like this whole atmosphere that's only for yourself, and you're having sustainable uh, life support systems that would protect you from everything around you. So yeah, that would be a really good solution.
And so, chemical engineering, how did you get into that?
So I originally wanted to study astrophysics, but unfortunately here, in order to study astrophysics, you have to study physics, and I'm not really into that. So I was like, I need to look for something else. And I decided to go for chemical engineering to hopefully in the future work as a propulsion engineer.
That that sounds awesome. Um, Looks like our connection froze. Um, can you hear me okay? Oh, there you are.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can. Yeah, you just froze for
Okay.
a bit. I don't know if it was on my
Yeah,
side or
my internet connection is unstable. Yeah, sorry about that.
no worries. I can't wait until we all have Starlink. So
What? Oh
I
yeah,
said I
yeah,
can't.
I should totally.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon?
Yes, I did know that, and I was actually a part of an Artemis launch watch party that happened, the first one where it got postponed, which was a bit disappointing, but it was really exciting because you get to see all those people who are interested in space. So yeah,
Did y'all also have a watch party for the second and third attempt as well?
fortunately not.
Now, I was thinking the splashdown might be a good thing to have a party for because
Yeah, yeah,
pretty much that will happen on time.
yeah, definitely.
Um, so how did you find out about Artemis?
Like I said, I'm really interested in propulsion engineering and that stuff. So the SLS rocket is such a masterpiece. It's an engineering masterpiece. So I really want to study that and get into it. So when they started talking about Artemis, I was like, oh, what is that? I want to learn about it. So yeah, I finally got into it.
So I've been interviewing people at the coffee shop, at the stores, on the airplanes, and most of the people I talk to don't know that we're planning to send people back to the moon. And I was wondering if you find this surprising.
I wouldn't find this surprising, particularly because space is, even though it's really widely discussed now, but if it's not in your day-to-day things, like, or if you don't have the community around you to talk about it, you wouldn't know every little detail about it. You would probably like know the big news like the James W. Space Telescope and that stuff. But no, that's not as surprising as what you think it is.
Um, how about in your world? Do most people know that we're going to the moon, or do you also find that maybe you're unique and
Yeah, no, it's definitely different here. The space community isn't as big as it is anywhere else in the world. But because I'm mostly surrounded by people who are also interested in this, so it wasn't really different for me.
now, what do you think about us going back to the moon?
It's really cool and it's exciting. And the really cool part about it is that you get to see how differently things are done now. Because like if you're looking back at like 90s, 1960s, and how much technologically developed everything now is. And even socially, we're now the first woman is going to the moon, which is really cool. So yeah, there's a lot of different things. And it's also really exciting because this will be just the beginning of colonizing Mars and building a civilization there. So yeah. What do
Well,
you think about it?
I mean, I think it's a really neat thing. I was born in 1975, so I missed the last moon landing by like three
Yeah,
years. But as a baby, I really couldn't appreciate it anyway. So it really needed to
yeah,
happen like much later in my life. But it's just like, whoa, it's like I think. Well, I mean, talking more broadly than just going back to the moon, I think this decade is going to be very transformational for the space industry. And I remember living through the 1990s and seeing sort of like the growth of the internet from just a few
yeah,
people having computers. Nobody knew what email was. The idea of online shopping was completely unthinkable at the beginning of the 1990s. And then by 2000, it's just like something that
yeah,
everybody did, it's everybody has
yeah,
email. Every
yeah,
business needs a website. And um, online shopping was, kind of commonplace. And I think the 2020s are going to be like that for space. So I think going to the moon is one part of that. But then I also think that, it's there's going to be a whole, I mean, we have people all over the world, like yourself,
yeah,
working
yeah,
on, spacesuits and,
yeah,
I mean, there's a rocket company that started in New Zealand that's been very successful, Rocket Labs. And I just feel now, it's almost like the 2020s are going to be to space what the 1990s were to the internet. That's sort of my thought.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So I think it's an exciting time. I can see people wearing your spacesuit at some point. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I can see
Okay,
people
yeah,
wearing your spacesuit at some point. You might
yeah.
have to make a lot of them.
Well, hopefully. So like,
But
no,
well, some people say, we have these problems on Earth. Why are we spending all
yeah,
this money on space? I mean, what's your reaction to that?
it's a big part of exploring space is actually helping Earth in some way. Like, if there was not like a space race or something, we wouldn't have all of those satellites and we wouldn't have the internet and so on. So exploring space it, helps Earth. So working in those two paths is really important. But that just because there's a problem here on Earth does not mean that we should not explore space. So yeah,
I agree, especially considering there's 8 billion of us. It seems like we could do multiple
yeah,
things at one
yeah.
time.
But
Seven
there's also
billion
like
people.
a lot to explore here on Earth, and there's a lot of things that could help us to explore space more. So these two work together. They don't get separated.
But we can have 7 billion people working on Earth problems and 1 billion
Yeah.
people working on space
Yeah.
problems. um, where do you see humanity in 200 years?
200 years. Whoa. That's a really long time from now. It's a really tough question. Uh, the fun of it is that I don't know. Like there are a lot of things that happened in history that completely changed the course of what happens. For example, like COVID 2 years ago, who would have known that would happen? Who would have known that would make people stay in their homes for like 2 months and it would change the entire educational system and how we talk to each other. And like, for example, for, if COVID didn't happen, we wouldn't be having this meeting now. So there are things that are going to happen in the next 200 years that would change history. So maybe in 200 years, we may be on Mars, even Titan now. Now they're taking cool, really cool pictures of it. But yeah, no one knows.
But let me ask you a different question then.
Okay,
Where do you want humanity to be in 200 years?
where do I want them to be? As far, oh, I don't know. Like the moon or Mars would be really cool, like to have an actual civilization there. And from there, for them to be able to explore even more space, even going to other galaxies maybe or other planetary systems. So yeah, that kind of thing.
I, a very big difference between another star system and another galaxy, though.
Yeah. Who knows? Like the space is really big, which is really haunting, kind of a little bit. But yeah, humans are born to explore. Humans are born explorers. We've always decided to explore more and see other things, new things. So who knows what happens?
Um, would you take a trip to space if you could?
Definitely, 100%.
Like, how far would you go?
I want to go to Mars, even the moon, but like the Mars is would be a cool thing. But just because it's another planet, I always look at it like that used to be Earth. Like it used to have water and other stuff. So like maybe looking at what the future of Earth could turn into, or and how we can work to not for that to not happen again. So yeah, that would be really cool.
Um, do you see yourself as being a settler on Mars, like actually living there and having a family and living your day-to-day
Uh,
life?
no, but I would want to go there for vacation. Like, oh, I'm bored. I'm gonna go to Mars.
Well, I don't think going to Mars is a solution for boredom because you'd be like in a spacecraft for like 6 months and then
But it's fun
yeah.
and it's worth it.
Um, let's see. Uh, if you had a chance to like go into space today, like to orbit, is there anything particular that you'd want to do while you were in orbit? I mean, like, how would you spend your time? Hmm. Oh, there we are. It
Yeah,
seems to
I'm
be
really sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so
no, no,
sorry
it's
about that.
no worries, no worries. But it's kind of interesting that it's seems to happen on a regular basis. I haven't timed it, but it'd be interesting to see if the interval between the first time and this time is like the same time. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I know the internet connection has been really bad since morning. I don't know why, but yeah, I'm so sorry about that.
No problems. Some things, it's like, rainy weather. You just have to carry an
Oh
umbrella.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for understanding.
But if you went to orbit and you had a chance to be weightless and look at the Earth and
Okay.
all this, uh, is there like any special thing that you have in mind of doing if you had that chance?
I want to see a water bubble in zero gravity.
Hmm.
Like, and actually see it in front of me. I always see videos of it, and I think that's really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, a carbonated water bubble might even be
Yeah.
like the next step,
Yeah.
right?
Even cooler. Yeah.
With like the little eruptions on the
Yeah.
surface.
Yeah.
Um, well, if you live 200 years in the future instead of now, what do you think people at that time period would remember about this decade?
About this decade. They would definitely remember the James Webb Space Telescope. That's really huge, as well as the Artemis missions, especially if this is actually the beginning of humans going to space and settling on other planetary objects like the moon or Mars. This is something that would be talked about, not even just 200 years, even 1,000 probably, because this is a changing point or like a deflection point in our lifetime. Yeah, they would definitely, this is the moment of change, definitely.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we still talk about the Hubble, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
been up there for what, 30 years almost, 25 years, 20, something like that. Long time. Well, thank you so much. Those were pretty much the questions I had. Did you um thank you so
Okay,
much. That was
thank you.
pretty much the questions I had. I know we talked about a whole bunch of things, but um, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about, or did you have any questions for me?
No, thank you so much for this opportunity, and hopefully we can meet again.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you ever come to Houston, let me know.
Okay, I will.
And if I'm ever in Jordan, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, please, please, always reach out.
Okay. Well, you have a good rest of your day then.
Thank you so much. You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye bye.